Welcome to the Worst Golf Podcast. Sorry about the delay. We were laughing in the background as we were going through our weekly pumping up session, which is not true at all.
No, that's the first time we've ever done that.
Everybody wants to be the best. We strive to be the worst. This show's kicking it off in grand fashion. When a bad take is necessary, we'll be here to bring it to you. I'm your host, JB. With me is Morgan. We have a whole lot to get to this week. We're going to kick things off with something that's not even golf related. We're going to talk football for a second.
Yes. Can I also just say really quick, I never knew it said you're live.
Oh, really?
No, because I'm always facing the wrong direction.
Oh, yeah. It says you're live in the top right corner, but it's blocked by lights.
No, it was right in the middle.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I'm pointing like you guys have no idea. I'm looking at our screen here.
Above us that they can't see, the people watching on YouTube can see, like that way, and this way are lights.
Right.
And they're very bright.
Yeah, they're very bright. You can't look at them or you go blind.
So we can't see a lot of what is being said. So you have comments up there that you can kind of read.
Yeah.
And I can kind of see some of them to my right, but not a lot.
Yeah. So I can see them from here, which is why sometimes you'll see me looking up.
Yeah. You'll see us looking at the screen or looking down at our topics and things like that. But we're not trying to avoid the eye contact.
But I never knew it said I always wondered how you knew that we were actually live.
I'm basically a wizard.
Right. Okay.
But we're going to kick this off with NFL talk.
Yes.
And only because I find this story incredibly funny.
Okay.
So Saquon Barkley.
Yes.
Fantastic running back.
Yes. When he stays healthy.
Off injured. Signed his contract today.
Which I can't believe I didn't know that.
So Saquon Barkley had been holding out.
Yes.
Didn't sign his franchise tag.
Poor running backs.
Wanted a long-term deal. And the running back is kind of a deflated category for contracts. And, you know, from the ownership standpoint, rightfully so. You could make the case that the best running backs in the NFL, not named Derrick Henry, are playing quarterback. So they're not paid as high as some other positions.
No.
And I listen, they're still well compensated, but I understand the argument that they should be better paid, and I understand the argument that they shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's really kind of a catch-22 thing.
But he'd been holding out and had a franchise tag. And the way the franchise tag works, to make it simple, just figure you take the average of a certain number of players at that position, and that's where you are.
I think it's 10 million, right?
Around 10 million for running backs.
I think that's what Tony Pollard got.
Well, Saquon did refuse to sign his. Right. And he was going to hold out for a long-term contract, and he signed today.
But he didn't sign his franchise tag.
No, he signed a contract extension with the Giants for 1 year. Now, obviously, there's more to it that we're never going to know, certain things behind the scenes.
Right.
I've been involved in those conversations at that level before. But this one's unique because he could have had similar money signing the franchise tag, but instead chose to sign a 1-year deal for similar money. He does get a couple million up front.
Right.
And there's some incentive things in place that if he stays healthy, he's going to reach.
Yeah.
But in turn, the Giants can now franchise tag him next year.
I know.
So,
which I assume that they will.
It's a very unique situation, but he signed. But also that leaves Josh Jacobs unsigned.
Did you say it?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Every time we hear his name from, what was it, Fantasy Football Live?
Yeah.
Josh Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. Anyhow.
Yeah, that comes from Gruden, right?
I don't know.
That leaves Josh Jacobs kind of sitting there on an island of holdouts.
Yeah, because he apparently 6 a.m. was on a flight yesterday out of Vegas.
Out of Vegas.
Yeah.
So that's it. I just wanted to say that because I found the whole story, this story fascinating.
It's interesting.
For people that follow the forum, they know that I follow the business side of sports because that's what my background is in. Probably more than the actual sports.
Yeah.
So that story was fascinating to me. Jumping into it this week, we watched the Open Championship this last weekend, and he put on a show. Yeah. To win it. Absolute incredible golf. I mean, somebody made a post that it's the best ever, blah, blah, blah. That's nonsense.
That's a bit of a stretch.
Nonsense. But it was a fantastic show. Nobody really challenged him. But he didn't really give way at all.
No, I mean, people got, I think at one point there was like 3 strokes, right?
Yeah.
Between him and Rahm, I think. And then
I think that's right. And THP4 member Templeton was in the crowd over across the pond because there were clearly people heckling him saying, Rory's going to get you, Rory's this, things like that. And him being the biggest Rory fan, I figured that had to have been him over there. But apparently the fans were ruthless to some of these guys about Rory being the greatest.
Really?
Yeah, to the point it was nauseating. It was like a million Brandel Chambleys lined up, but rooting all for Rory.
Oof, I don't know how I feel about that.
But it was actually a pretty good tournament.
It was.
I would have preferred the weather kicking in earlier than just Sunday.
Yeah.
Some guys really played well. There was some great golf played. I thought Rahm was going to make a run there after his move on Saturday.
I'll say this. If he hadn't done as well as he did, it probably would have been an even better tournament, though, because there was 10 guys within the stroke of each other. Yeah. I mean, it would have been could have been really interesting.
7 under to 5 under stretch of players was
and big names too.
Big names in golf. So that wraps up the majors for the year.
Yes. And our predictions were not that great.
No, basically shit.
Yeah. I mean they were if you get rid of him.
You picked Rahm.
Yeah.
I picked Scotty Scheffler. We kind of went chalk there, but it wasn't it wasn't meant to be.
No.
But we're not done with big golf events.
No.
The Ryder Cup coming up September-ish, October.
September, I wrote it down. It is September 29th through October 1st.
Held in Italy.
Yep, in Rome.
Or
just near Rome.
Just outside of Rome.
Yeah.
The conversation now has shifted to who should be on the team with the captain's picks. Will Justin Thomas be there? We're not going to get too deep onto Ryder Cup this week.
No, because we're going to do a whole Ryder Cup show.
And have a big contest around it. It's going to be awesome. Also, the FedEx Cup playoffs are here. I can't stand them. I think the FedEx Cup playoffs are bullshit. I think it's just a way that the PGA Tour let me just get this out there.
It's going to be a soapbox.
The PGA Tour has shown their true colors.
Should I put the camera just on you so you can have a little PSA
Probably.
moment? Okay.
The more you know should flash across the screen
exactly.
right now. The PGA Tour's true colors have come out, and really Monahan's of having total control of golf and finances for all of golf. The FedEx Cup was nothing but a ploy to eliminate the best players in the world from all the other tours and make them come here. People can argue that till they're blue in the face. It was a reward to make sure your top talent stays here. Maybe it's smart, maybe it wasn't. It worked,
right?
And all the top talent is here. The FedEx Cup playoffs make no sense to me.
Right.
You have 3 events. They've gotten better, and now they have people starting with it's handicapped. Like, come on.
I never could understand it.
Yeah, and I understand the handicap part of it because you can't have a guy winning the final tour championship and then losing the 10 million or whatever the frick the money is at this point.
Proud of you.
Yeah, that's I held that one for you. But it's just awful from a fan standpoint because it feels so forced.
Yeah.
There's a way to make it natural, make it match play or something like that. Figure out the best way to do it, where it's a winner take all thing, not handicapped, and keep fans engaged. Because otherwise, the fan experience for a lot of people in a non-Ryder Cup year ended this last week. For us, in a lot of ways, it has. I will watch it because it's our job.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people, and we'll ask the audience, do you follow the FedEx Cup playoffs? Do you watch those events? I mean, big name golfers playing beautiful courses. I think this year it's Southwind in Memphis. Really good barbecue place right near there.
Great.
Commissary.
Great
If
barbecue
you're going
place.
to that place, go to Commissary.
Yeah, it's good.
Olympia Fields, I think, is in there, and then obviously Eastlake. So that's kind of our tour wrap up, and it might be our tour wrap up until we do our Ryder Cup show.
I think
unless something big happens,
it's possible.
I know there's a lot of people here waiting for the Grandaddy Contest thing, and we've gone back and forth, or I've gone back and forth on the best way to do this contest. And I can tell people who are following right now that one of the remaining spots will be awarded not through a contest.
Oh.
It'll come from activity on the forum, following on events, things like that.
Pretty big announcement right
I'm just going to put that out there right now. But this next contest is a really good one. So it's going to drop later this week on the forum.
Can I?
Yeah, jump in.
Just not to make you wait longer. We're having electrical work done.
Oh yeah, we probably should have put this out earlier.
Yeah. So
if we go black, the show's over. We're not going to
over.
come back in a little bit. It means the power's out at our office here, and it's not going to come back.
Just a heads up on that one.
So going back to our contest.
Yes, sorry.
No, that's important news.
Also,
I've made it mentioned. Maybe mention it. Easy for me to say. Let's start again.
Try it again.
I may have mentioned it a time or two that this event's super important to me. And there's not a lot of things that kind of move me with the experience. Well, they all do in their own way, but this one is really, really special. And the people behind the scenes that are making this possible they care about our community in a way unlike many people do. And I've come up with an idea because this is the 10th one, meaning there's been 9 others. I'm not great at math, but I figured that one out.
Is that what comes after 9?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It goes from 9 to double. Well, in golf, it goes to pitching wedge, which is bullshit. It should be a 10 iron, but that's a whole other rant. We're going to have a contest that'll kick off this week. It'll drop on Friday. It might be Thursday, but most likely Friday, where you have to post your favorite Granddaddy memory. I don't want a picture. I don't want a GIF. I don't want somebody doing a poem or
haiku.
Yeah, it doesn't. We're not asking for that kind of creativity.
Right.
We're asking just to pick your favorite moment from the previous 9 Granddaddies from actual event live thread. So it can't be, oh, when I was picked or when my friend was picked, that was the best moment. I'm not interested in that. Obviously, that's a great moment. We're looking for that moment that happened in the live update thread. And here's the best part. If you haven't followed, if you're new to THP, no big deal. These threads all exist.
Yeah.
You can go in there, jump in and follow. And once you start reading, you're not going to stop.
Probably not.
If you are an active member, and your post, because we got a few people who are super active on our forum and listen, they don't follow the events. Great. Totally understand. It's not your thing. Don't go into the contest thread and say, it was that year we won the belt. Not interested. Be more specific. Okay. I can already picture the people who are going to do that too. Just like I can already picture the people who are going to look through the thread, the contest thread, and see the entries and be like, oh, a couple people mentioned this one. I'm going to mention that one.
Right.
I can check to see if you've ever looked.
Right.
You know? Like,
yeah, that's true.
We're giving away a $20-something thousand package here. You can spend a few minutes to read a thread. Not that big of a deal. So that is going to drop later this week. And we have another contest we're going to discuss later on, which is one of my favorite contests creatively. Creative? Yeah, something like
sure.
that.
They know. You guys know.
That we've done that is going to be awesome and really get THPers talking and things like that. Going to jump into a couple of questions. What's your favorite Granddaddy memory before I do?
Oh, can it... I mean, I have a
cheat and go with the one you've been to or the few you've been to.
Well, yeah, but it's like a memory that I have that I was a part of.
Yeah, see, it doesn't really work for us.
Yeah,
we've been a part of most of them.
That's the thing.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
okay.
Because to me, it's the candy.
Yeah,
exactly.
And you've told that story
before. A million times. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Jumping to THPer questions. We have a lot of good ones this week.
Yep, this one's you.
When's the last time I was fit into something that was a surprise? And when you try it again, it didn't really come out, but that's what you were fit to. Do you jump in even if you were struggling with it? And I'm trying to relate to that question where you pick something up in a fitting and you hit it and it's the best out of the things you test. It's fantastic. But when you get your club built, you go and you hit it a few more times, it's not quite there. That happens fairly often. Usually, it happens the most when there's a weight change in shaft. So you go from, let's say you're playing 95 gram shafts to 120s, or you go 120 gram shafts to 95s or lighter, or you go 70 gram driver shaft to 50, things like that. It happens. It's going to feel weird at times. I'm a stick with it kind of guy. I trust the fitting process. Now, the flip side of that is there are times when swinging during the fitting I try to guide it and I try to get over that, and having indoor golf experience can help that quite a bit. If you've never swung a golf club indoors and then you go to your first fitting, let's say at a club champion, and it's indoors, it's going to be awkward. Your swing isn't going to necessarily match 100%.
100%. It's going to be awkward.
Yeah. But I will add this before you go in.
Yeah.
Most of the fitting places like Club Champion do a good job of providing space. You don't feel enclosed there.
No, you don't feel claustrophobic. But many, 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 many years ago, you did.
Yes. That was at Golf Tech years ago.
Yes. And they had the launch monitor.
And you hit it.
On the ground.
Yes.
And I said, can I hit this? And the guy said, no one's ever hit this. You can't hit this. I hit it.
Yeah.
First try.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a second try. It doesn't matter. I hit it. So it's intimidating.
Yeah, it can be. And, there's a lot of people who go into a fitting who are pretty anti-lesson.
Yeah.
Because they don't really like people watching them play. They play golf for fun. But the fitting can help them. And
it can make golf more fun.
And you're in the studio. There's people around. There's people walking by behind you. There's a fitter there. It can be intimidating. I totally understand that.
Yeah. And if you're someone who needs silence and things like that, you're not going to get that.
Get over yourself, first of all.
Agreed. But still.
my thought process is get your swings in, get comfortable. Even if let's say you set up a fitting, go ask the place when you're setting it up, hey, can I come in there the day before and take 5 swings? As I hit my mouth on the microphone like I'm trying to eat it. So I think there's a lot to that, but I think there's a lot of truth to it as well. My rule of thumb is try it. I've never been to a fitting place, me personally, that didn't have a playability guarantee.
Right.
If you go to Club Champion, and I have, and one time they made a tweak on me. It was a lie angle tweak. But I got fit, and this was 5 or 6 years ago, I think. And the irons, they just felt off to me.
Right.
And I went in and we did some lie angle testing, and they changed it up a little bit. And next thing you know, I was fine. But I know it happens, and I know people are quick to jump back. Well, I'm not seeing the gains I saw there. It was all bullshit. It's not bullshit.
Right. You just got to give it some time.
You got to give it some time. So I think that covers pretty much all of it. Next question. We live in Florida. I travel a lot for golf. How do we keep cool on the golf course? The answer, you don't.
You don't.
And it's not whether you're in Florida, Texas, Arizona, or anyplace else. It's hot out.
It's hot. Yeah. You play early in the morning.
Yeah. And even then, there's this myth of early in the morning, the temperatures are cooler. It's true.
But it's more humid.
Exactly. Yeah. Whereas when the sun comes out, it burns the humidity off a little bit. And you get a little better.
Yeah.
I've played all over this country in almost every state. Not quite, but almost every state. It's hot everywhere.
It's hot.
Yeah. I've switched to a bucket hat because of my friend with the skin cancer. I don't love the look of it, but it doesn't matter. That's kind of what I've gone with. Morgan has made it clear she doesn't want to be married to Vander Holyfield with half an ear.
No, I'd prefer not to.
And I drink a lot of water and just try to stay cool.
Right.
I also move pretty quickly on the golf course, which helps.
That is also true.
So my rule of thumb, do anything you can to stay as cool as possible, whether that's the towel with ice, whether it's just keeping cool, whatever you can do to cool yourself down a couple of degrees works.
And stay hydrated, because even if you think that you're not,
true.
Yeah, you might not even think you're thirsty, but stay hydrated, because at that point you're just dehydrated.
Yes.
Yeah.
We got, as a quick transition, we got a new logo.
We
didn't really get a new logo. Our logo is our logo. It's not going anywhere. The exclamation point I don't have one next to me. Oh, yes, I do. Right here.
There.
The exclamation point, which is actually a ball going into the hole.
It's literally right there.
Yeah, it's right there also. That is our logo. Yeah. But we had, our font, the Hacker's Paradise, don't just play golf, live it. That's been something that was more of like an internal motto. We never really meant to be public, but it kind of ran with it.
But we've had it for 15 years.
15 years that's been written there. And it was time to modernize it. And we reached out, and our shout out goes to Jeremy for working with us on this. Yes.
So people know who that is in the forum.
We went back and forth.
We did a lot.
A lot of
You should have seen how many times we moved the exclamation point, by the way, which I kept putting the symbol for exclamation point because I can't spell it.
So we went with this one. We love it. It's up on the website now.
It's on the homepage.
Yeah, the website. It'll hit the forum soon.
Yes.
It's not as easy as people think. Oh, you just drag and drop. That's not how it works.
No, we have a custom forum.
Custom software.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that is kind of the way it is. And we're definitely going to have some fun with that logo in the future, doing some pretty cool things.
I know that it's not perfect on the homepage or the website yet either. I'm actually going to work on that a little bit after the show. So
gotcha.
Bear with me, but I'm working on it.
We got a really interesting THPer question that I'm going to jump to now.
Okay.
And it's about fall releases in golf.
In
years past, everybody released in January.
Yeah, I feel like that was a long time ago at this point.
Yeah, it was. And really, it wasn't everybody. So there was for a lot of time, there was talk of, Ping and Titleist release every 2 years. That's not really true. Ping releases every 18 months. They do a driver in January, and they do a driver in the fall. Their driver in the fall has always been the better of the two drivers from a sales perspective. I'm not going to talk about performance in any of this stuff.
Right.
I'm just going to put that out there early on. None of this is about performance. This is about data and sales that I have.
Right.
Other companies may have different data. This is the stuff that's been presented to me. Everybody kind of releases all over the place now. And I think, I don't know which camera to look into here. I think
that one.
Oh, this one? We're down the line on this one, even though it says not to?
Well, I can switch to you.
No, it doesn't matter. Everybody releases all year long now, be it wedge extensions, putters, whatever it is. We release all year long. For fall releases specifically, historically, I would make the case that The fall releases were geared towards the Sun Belt. So that's not hard to figure out what that is. The places that are warm during the winter. The internet changed that a little bit. I would say that fall releases now are for everybody, but generally speaking, you could say the fall releases are for the Sun Belt, and it hits a golf season for Texas, for Florida, for Georgia, where that is the golf season. We get cheaper during the summer and more expensive in the winter.
Yeah,
That's
because
what
our weather's
happens.
amazing during the winter.
Yeah. So you could say Sun Belt. So historically, you would see things that are geared towards older golfers, let's say, or female golfers, all kinds of different things. But you would normally see the tour issue stuff come out in January. Well, that's out the door now because A, companies want to beat other companies, and B, companies generally, the good companies, the high performance companies, release when ready.
Mm-hmm.
So currently, I'm assuming this question is in regards to a couple of things coming out over the next couple of weeks, iron release wise, that have been teased out forever. And I'm not going to discuss what those are, but it's not hard for people to figure out. Those would not be clubs or equipment or even a line geared towards the Sun Belt or anything else. It's not geared towards it, but it's not geared towards it. It's a global release.
Yeah. Now, does this coincide more with COVID and what's the word I'm looking for? Supply chain issues?
Yeah, I know what you're getting at. To me, not now, but I think that did change things. There's no secret on the best-selling golf months. Usually it coincides around the Masters.
Right, of course.
And, the following month. And that's why a lot of releases hit January. Embargo, nowadays, it has to be January because as soon as it's out, it's out. Come to retail March, April, and start selling. With the global lines and companies releasing when ready, that's kind of what they go with. Titleist and Ping are probably the two most predictable as far as release schedule still. And you could make the case those two companies go on a more traditional basis. Mm-hmm. They still release, we'll call it either 18 months or 2 years, and they still have new product every single month or so. Whereas Callaway is probably the one with the most moving targets, where they release when ready, when the product and the components are available. And there's no right or wrong. There's no which ones or which, but normally like a company like Ping, their January release outsells their fall release, the other way around. Their fall release outsells their January release 10-1. Mm-hmm. Well, not really that much, but it's much more. And the reason being, according to them, spoken to me, when they released in the fall, historically, they didn't go up against anybody. When they release in January, they go up against everybody.
Makes sense.
Now, they could be speaking about performance. They could be speaking about marketing. I'm not here to dive into that or say it one way or the other. Mm-hmm. I have my feelings on it, but that's just an opinion. When these other companies are releasing in the fall, it's usually geared around tour acceptance. So if you have a player's iron, let's say, and it's coming out in the fall, it's because the tour players are validating it and they want to put it in play.
Right.
Titleist is pretty scheduled. Some of the other companies are pretty scheduled. Cleveland and Strixon is getting more towards when it's validated, we're putting it in play. They have a growing tour staff, I'll say. And they're growing leaps and bounds, especially with the latest release, the CX line MK2, which is a lot to say. But yes. So I think that kind of answers the question. Historically, it's been Sunbelt, but currently it's really not. It's a release to the masses, and it's going to be pumped to the masses. Mm-hmm. There are a couple others that are a little different. Normally around the Open Championship, I'm not calling it that anymore. It's the British Open.
It's the British Open.
Screw all these people who get so upset. Normally around the British Open, you'll see a new utility hit from different companies, and you'll see some very specific clubs. They're launching them in a very small inventory count because they know the tour players are going to use them. Mm-hmm. As soon as the tour players use them, people are either interested in buying them or they're at least going to be out there and do it. So holding them until January makes no sense.
Right.
I kind of covered two questions in one. Once was who targets the fall releases, and the next one was the marketing of the late season releases. I think it really depends on the brand. Before I get into we're going to switch this on the script.
Okay.
I was going to do the contest announcement and then do your recipe. Let's do the recipe because if they meet your recipe, maybe their size changes for the contest.
Okay. Let me pull this up. Let's move to here. All right. So, okay, that's kind of a repetition from last week in the sense that this is also an answer.
Before you go on, I'm going to add,
yeah,
these have been a big hit on our forum. People who have
I
tried the different
know.
recipes have really liked them.
Which I'm so happy about. And everybody seems to agree that they're easy to make. And people are making variations too, which is what I love because that was my thing. I was like, change it up however you want. Some people were asking about the one with the Brussels sprouts. Like, I don't like Brussels sprouts. What can I use? And we said like broccoli or green beans. And somebody used broccoli and it seemed to work. So I'm super happy that you guys are kind of making it your own too. So this one, like I said, is kind of I don't want to, it's a variation off of the one from last week because it's also an enchilada. If you can't tell, I've kind of been on a Mexican food kick lately. So, but this one's different because it's hot. It's summertime and it's hot. And I thought this would be a really great one because it's done in the slow cooker, which this time of year, I'm a really big fan of because I don't want to turn on my stove. I don't want to turn on my oven. It's just too hot. So it's a slow cooker quinoa enchilada casserole. And I figured this one was also good because I've seen a couple of people posting about using quinoa. And it's a literally dump it all into the slow cooker, walk away. It's super easy. Most of the stuff you probably have in your fridge or freezer or your pantry anyway. So I'll post up the recipe as soon as we're done with the show. But it reheats really, really well also. And you can kind of add some other stuff if you like. Like it has corn and corn and black beans and fresh cilantro and cumin and the quinoa, like I said. But
basically just reading the whole ingredient list.
No, I'm not. I was just highlighting a couple of things, but I was going to say, oh, and chopped green chilies. So it's delicious. So I'll post this up at the end of the show.
I can't hear quinoa without thinking of the commercial.
It's a Kino.
Yeah, with the guy, the tailgater.
Yeah.
Switching gears, I mentioned earlier in the show we had a contest, teased it up there. People who pay attention saw the video graphic. Right. It was of Stitch Golf's retail store.
Exactly.
So we're going to do a contest. It's going to launch tomorrow or Thursday, one of the 2 days. And it's cool.
Yeah.
It's for our forum members.
Yes.
So if you are not a member
really
of our forum,
contest.
You're going to want to join the forum. Not hard to do. It doesn't cost any money.
Nope.
But this one is cool. So we are going to have you up your golf style along with other forum members.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that's going to work is you are going to make a post on our forum and wait for the thread, obviously. I got to explain. Wait for the thread. Don't go just randomly posting it.
No.
Wait for the thread. And you're going to post, follow the instructions because they may get tweaked, but you're going to post what your favorite Stitch polo is.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to tag the 3 forum members that would play in your foursome.
Yeah.
And each person will do that.
And let's not have any jealousy click.
There will.
I know.
I'm already angry.
Let's try not.
I'm already angry. You know,
you're pre-annoyed.
Yeah, I'm pre-annoyed about this. But you're going to tag 3 other THPers. But you're not just going to win the polo. You're going to win an outfit. And it includes shorts, a polo, and a quarter zip.
Which is awesome. That's really awesome.
It's pretty high-end package.
Yeah.
And for our audience that is super slim, they make small sizes. And for our audience that wears size couch cover, they make that too.
Couch cover.
They do. It's literally on the site. You go like small, medium, large. They have a medium large, which is really a large, extra large, double XL, and couch cover. It says it right there. Nailed it. But yes, it's coming this week. It's really cool. And you get to win with other people on the forum.
Yeah, that part's really cool.
Jumping back to a couple of THPer questions.
Mm-hmm.
If we were to build a driving range, what would it look like?
This is a really good question.
Yeah.
So
we put way too much thought
We put a lot of thought into this. And we've actually talked about this before.
Yeah.
I think mine would be like a poor man's version of a Top Golf.
Okay. But not with levels.
But exactly.
Yeah.
So we're going to start off with the fact that there's just one level. So we're already at the poor man's version. It's one level. But I would like...
So it's a driving range.
But I want it covered.
Okay.
I want it covered, and I want you to be able to have stats.
Okay. So top tracer.
Yeah. So I want you to be able to have stats, but I also want there to be like a place to get food.
Yeah.
But not like vending machine food.
No. I'm with you.
Yeah, like a concession stand of some sort.
So we were on the same page.
Yeah.
We really... There's some irony in this that we live in a neighborhood that has a driving range that is top tracer.
Yes. They just put it in.
They just put it in.
Kind of where I got the idea
and
from.
it's kind of a weird range. Let's just say they need to put some money into it.
Yeah. They're starting to, because they only did like 3 bays, I think, that have
6
it.
with the top tracer. The rest are
6.
not. But so we both believe that the reason Top Golf is so successful,
yes,
not because it's fun as hell, because it is, but they've created this environment, and I've said this before, where they've convinced golfers you're playing golf and non-golfers you're not.
Exactly. That's exactly what they've done.
And that's what we would want to do with our driving range, is make it entertainment as well as golf.
Yes, so that you can, but I don't, okay, this is going to sound bad.
Too late. Listen, it's just us talking.
Okay. I don't want a bunch of drunks out there, though. I don't want a bunch of drunks out there. I want it to be like family friendly. I want people to like go out there with their kids, with their friends, and have fun. But I don't want like a bunch of drunk people who are just like out there sloppy. I don't want that.
I get that. So, I totally get it. It's not us, so I get it.
Yeah. So I'm just saying I don't want that.
Somebody asked in the comments, why is Topgolf successful and Drive Shack isn't? I can answer that so well as somebody who's held an event at both of them. One is a dumpster fire wrapped up in a driving range, and the other one is Topgolf.
That's intense.
Drive Shack is dirty. It's disorganized. Working with them as a group thing it's freaking terrible.
Oh, I'm so proud of you.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
The other one is Topgolf, which is super professional,
streamlined,
easy to deal with. We've been working with Topgolf long before they were part of the Callaway thing.
Before.
And what's kind of funny, for everybody who talks about it being Callaway or Topgolf, Callaway, whatever it is, if I plan an event at Topgolf, I still go to Topgolf. We don't go to somebody at Callaway and have it done.
No.
I don't think they could help us, honestly.
I don't think they could either.
But it's literally like, if you see a McDonald's and a Burger King on the corner on like the side of the highway, you kind of look and you know which one's going to be cleaner.
McDonald's. At least in my head.
The one that's the hot dumpster with trash laying on the ground outside, that's your Drive Shack.
KFC.
Yeah. And it's not, I'm sure that Drive Shack has a location that's fine, but I've been to two and they were both disgusting.
Yeah, that's gross.
When you get to a new driving range, you get there with your group and you walk to a driving range, you don't expect trash on the ground.
No.
And old food laying there that's been there
gross.
for days. Like
that's
was just
so gross.
Not a good experience.
No, that's gross.
So that would kind of be our driving range.
But I want it to be affordable.
Really, you're making this tough.
That's why I'm making it the poor man's version.
Okay.
Is that like an insensitive term?
I don't think so.
No.
Guys, is that the commoner version?
No, see, I wouldn't use that word. Is it insensitive? Guys,
say the
tell
poor
me.
man's version?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Okay.
Another question we got was about online fitting tools, and I got the question, and forum member David Hibbler asked this because I think he's going into a transition of new shafts for his golf equipment. So I saw the question, and we'd already had the format done on the show, but I wanted to ask it because I've gotten this question a couple of times in the last few weeks relating to other parts of equipment. So I went to one company that does a shaft online fitting tool and another company that has a ball online fitting tool.
Real quick, someone said women's clothes too.
Women's clothes?
For Stitch.
I don't believe they have stuff now.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
We'll work something out.
Yeah.
So I went to a ball fitting tool company and a shaft fitting tool company and asked them what their thoughts are in the grand scheme of things. And they said, we do our best with basic information to come up with something that works. It's not going to replace a fitting. It's not going to replace speaking to an expert. If you have a direct access to somebody who knows what the hell they're talking about, that's going to be as good or better. If you ask the Golfman on Twitter or Danny Lee or somebody like that, these people are going to be able to help you probably more than an online fitting tool, probably. But they're not there to sell a good. Obviously, the grand scheme of things, yes, but that's not why they're designed, and that's not really what it is, because obviously the company wants you to be successful with the product you purchase of theirs, not just purchase the product. That's especially with golf balls. That's how you get repeat business, and golf balls are definitely repeat business if there ever is one.
No kidding.
Using that, you can get to where you need to be. There's a caveat there that I think needs to be addressed. When your input, the fitting tools are only as good as the information you put in to begin with. I can go into one of those fitting tools and say, I hit the ball straight or with a draw and I'm low spin and my launch angle is this and my speed is this. If none of it is real,
well, yeah, what's the point?
What's the point?
Yeah.
You're better off just picking based on color, which I'm okay with also.
Yeah. Everything
I'm
pink.
vain enough to pick a shaft based on the way it looks. There's no doubt about that. I'll find a way to make it work.
Everything pink and purple.
So no. that's kind of the caveat there. If you have access, if you're trying to, for shafts, I recommend a fitting. If you have access to people who can help you, you can probably get by without it. If you have gone through a fitting in the last 6 months to a year and nothing has changed drastically, you can use that as a parallel to help, especially if you're using the same clubs you were before. And I think that kind of covers the basics. So I hope that that answers the question that David was looking for.
Okay.
You got a little rant coming?
I do. Okay. I know this has happened to everybody.
Not me.
Oh, it's happened to you too. You go somewhere or you buy something or you hire someone or whatever.
You hire someone?
Hire someone to do a job.
Okay.
What?
Well, sound it off.
I don't know why. Hire someone. Anyway. And they always try to sell you something else. And what I mean by this is, like, today I had to go to the bank. All I was doing was depositing something. And then they're like, would you like to have blah, blah, blah? We can do blah, blah, blah for you. Would you like to open this blah, blah, blah account? No, I don't want to do any of that. I just want to deposit this and then leave. Drives me crazy. I know this has happened to everybody. You know what I'm talking about now?
Yeah, I do. I mean, yeah. I don't go to the bank. I don't even know what bank we use.
No, I actually asked them about getting you a debit card. You have to sign up for it. So we'll talk about that off the air.
Yeah.
But anyhow, you know what I'm talking about, though? It's so annoying. Anyway, it happened today and it drove me crazy. And I felt like I needed to share that with everybody.
We don't have a lot more to cover, but we do have a couple things we need to get through. First, we're going to have THP experiences starting back up again soon.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of crazy. It's been such a lull.
It's not that we stopped doing them.
No, it's just
breaking the schedule because a company kind of failed. I don't want to say failed to deliver because that's not really the right thing.
No.
Failed to get organized.
We couldn't get the timing.
Correct.
Everything to work out.
That's the best way to say it.
Yeah.
So we have SkyTrack experience coming up, and it's so freaking cool. Everybody got a SkyTrack Plus.
It is.
They have one of the top instructors in the country coming out to work with the guys. The guys don't know it yet, but they're going to actually, I mean, they know they're getting a golf tech package to go along with this, but they don't know what it is. And it's freaking awesome.
I know.
We also got a piece of swag delivered.
The swag is so
I'm not
cool.
going to show, but when you guys get it, you're going to freak out.
I know. I'm so excited for you.
Along with, it's just unlike anything we've done before.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to Ballyhack, but the teams were announced today.
Yep.
And we're going to get the pairings announced shortly this afternoon and the matchups and the formats. But, we're doing a Shamble alt shot singles. I'm going to beat the shit out of Koski on the golf course again. Probably not, but
better get into the sim.
I know. And he's working at Golf Tech now. He's going to come out and be awesome. I just know it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He doesn't like losing, and he's lost a couple in a row to me. So, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
Koski made the teams, so he favored himself a little bit. No,
right. So the fix is in.
He did the handicaps to make sure the math added up. It worked perfectly. So we'll get that out. And then directly behind that is Shaft Up. Hidden Creek. THPers are going to get their first look at a THP event at Hidden Creek and follow along. I'm doing back to back. We're going to have back to back. We're going to have both contests go live. We're going to have live update threads back to back.
Yeah, you're gone for like 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be amazing for you, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're going to have a party over here.
We have a show coming up next week, and it's going to be awesome because we'll have some other big announcements, including the winner of one of these contests.
Right.
The plan is to do it on Tuesday.
Yeah, we're going to hopefully do it on Tuesday, but it's sort of a moving target right now.
Yeah, I have a procedure getting done on Thursday of this week. Nothing serious. Don't worry, people.
No.
It's not that big of a deal.
No, it's not a vasectomy. I know all of you guys are going to post that again.
They posted that before?
Yes, last time too. So I was like, I'm just putting it out there now.
No, that's already taken place.
I'm 40 years old with no babies, people.
So we will be back next week, hopefully on Tuesday.
Right.
But if not, no, it's going to be Wednesday or Thursday. But we have a show next week. And then the following week, obviously, we'll be off because it will be travel week for events.
Right.
So for myself and Morgan, thanks for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to like the video. And we will see you next week.
Bye, everybody.